Hey folks, Barry here. A couple of months ago, I was online just kind of cruising around looking to see what was out there to be seen. And you guys know that I have been trying out a whole bunch of new Atibal optics lately. I've got a bunch on pistols and on a 9mm AR. And those that I've gotten have just all been basic red dots, enclosed emitter red dots. And what I saw, and something that I hadn't really considered much from them or been looking for from them necessarily, was an LPVO, a little 1:8, 1:6, something like that optic. And I noticed that they had one getting ready to release, coming out, and I thought, well, you know, I've had pretty good luck with what I've gotten from them so far. Checked it out. Price was right as far as what I wanted to spend, because something that I didn't have really a need for, but something that I always think that a good LPVO is just kind of nice to have. So I kind of looked around and I said, hey, look, I've got a rifle that doesn't have an optic on it. I had just some iron sights, and we had used it. It's actually what my son shot at Appleseed event earlier this year. But we had taken a scope off of another rifle in order to do that, so I had a rifle with no good optic, no scope, nothing on it. So I thought, well, I got a need. I'll go ahead and I'll grab one of these Atibal LPVOs. And so what it is it's the Atibal XP8 Ignite. And so that's this guy right here. You can see looks pretty standard for LPVO. This is a 1:8 magnification optic. It is a second focal plane, which you know, for a scope this size and within this budget, that's pretty much what you'd expect. First focal plane is, in my opinion, objectively better, but for what you're paying and what you can expect from that kind of an optic within that price range, second focal plane is pretty much what you're going to get. So I went ahead and I ordered this up, got myself a little mount. Actually, this is a mount that I had, just a little cheapy mount, but it's a mount that I've used before, and I know that it holds solid. So I went and I grabbed this, hooked it up, and just thought I'd give you guys some quick impressions of it. I've been using it for, I guess, about 2 months now, and let you know what I think about it. Like I said, this is a 1:8. Things that I really like about it: the glass is awfully darn clear, kind of surprisingly clear for such a budget-friendly optic. I will say, at the 8 power magnification turned all the way up, gets a little bit of shadow on there. You got to adjust your eye relief accordingly, which again is not uncommon. Just kind of something that you have to expect and deal with when you have it. Elevation windage adjustments are capped turrets. One thing, as much as I like that, one thing that I found interesting, not necessarily a drawback, but unexpected, is that these elevation and windage adjustments are in 1/2 MOA per click adjustments. It's not a huge deal, obviously, but something like my Vortex, the Strike Eagle that I've had forever, or the primary arms that I've had, are all in 1/4 MOA. So Atibal went with 1/2 MOA. I don't know why, but just to be different, maybe. But like I said, not a huge deal. You can learn to live with it. The adjustments are positive, good clicks. I have not had any problem with it, with the turrets coming loose, losing zero, anything like that. Set them. I got some witness marks on there to check, make sure nothing was moving around. Did a quick zero at 100, and then just kind of fiddled with them, and then went back to my witness marks, and it was right back dead on. I have not beaten this up a whole lot because this is just not something that I expect to do with this this gun in general. It's not something that I take out a whole lot, but it is a good gun and I love it. So I've like I said, I've not dropped this much. I haven't been throwing it around, anything like that. I've simulated a couple of small drops, something that might happen similar to, you know, just leaning it up against your car and it falling over on the sidewalk or in the desert, whatever. I did have one event where I dropped it from about 3 feet, just it sort of like falling off the tailgate of my truck. And it didn't quite lose the zero, but the zero drifted about, honestly, about a half an MOA. So we were shooting at about 100 yards. My point of aim was dead center on a steel target, and I was hitting just right at the neckline. So not a huge deviation. After the first shot, I was able to call it, come down a click, and I was right back to where I wanted to be. So one of the things that I really like about this is the illumination on it. This has what's called fiber wire illumination. So it's a pretty basic reticle on the inside, and the illumination is just the small dot right in the middle. So that's it. It's at 1 power. Anything within, you know, 50 yards or so for me, I'm just using it at 1 power with just that red dot as my point of reference. Like I said, we went out shooting out to 100 or so, maybe a little bit more. Again, I'm not going super long range with this thing just yet, but even at 100, that fiber wire dot was fantastic for tracking as the shots, you know, being able to get it right back down and see that that dot's back on my target. Follow-up shots were nice and quick with it, which was really nice, really nice. So I definitely like that fiber wire illumination. I think that's very good. When you crank it up to the 8 power, that dot does get a little bloomed, but not so much so that it's going to obscure your target or, you know, kind of distract you from the target. We were shooting in broad daylight, very bright sunlight out in the desert here, and I'd had no problems with the dot washing out or being so bright that it overpowered anything else. It's got, I believe, 10 brightness adjustments, and I do like that it has the off function between illumination. So go to 9 and 1 click and it turns off. Go to the next one, whatever. One thing I will say that I don't care for, and again, it's not a huge deal. It's just something for me that I think seems like a small thing that could be tweaked or added, is the magnification adjustment ring on the rear of it has this little bump right here, which is, you know, in theory, that's supposed to act like your little lever, a little something to grab onto. And that's good, except it's awfully short. And honestly, I wish it was either about a 1/4 inch taller or just gone. Because the way that it's built right there, I have a couple of adjustment knobs that I could put on here. None of them will fit with that there. So like I said, I'd rather this be a little bit taller so I could use it properly, or just gone so I could put my own ring over it. I've just got a little Ranger band on here that I threw on to give it a little bit of extra purchase around there, little kind of rubberized grip there. So it does come with a nice little kill flash to install in the front there, since that's everybody's favorite thing these days. I don't quite understand that, but I think as far as a budget-minded LPVO that's not going to necessarily do a whole lot, because you don't need it to do a whole lot, for folks who are not taking these into war, you know, basic, having fun at the range, I think this would hold up fine for, defensive shooting if you want to have something like this as a, on your ranch gun or whatever. Comparable to something like the, again, the Vortex Strike Eagle, the SIG Tango 1 to 6, whatever it is. Primary Arms has a very similar one. Big bonus on this one is that it actually costs about $100 less than just about any of those. I prefer the illumination on the Atibal, that fiber wire illumination, to like my Strike Eagle, which has the BDC reticle, and when you turn that on, the whole thing lights up. So it can be a little distracting, gets really busy with all those bright lights on it. The fiber wire dot is actually nice and crisp and great and easy to work with. So I have had the same battery in here for about 2 months, one that came from the factory. It's still working, so I'm not sure how the battery life's going to be, but like I said, with the illumination, you can click that to the off position when you're not using it. The reticle is still there. You can still see those crosshairs in there. So if you don't have the dot on, that's fine. You still got an aiming, you're still able to use it, obviously. And so that's really it for the XP8 Ignite from Atibal. I do want to give a shout out to Jimmy over at Atibal. Like I said, I placed the order for this a couple of months ago, and it was going to be a pre-order. The scope's looking to ship, I believe, at the end of September. So Jimmy reached out and said, hey, I've got a sort of, demo model that we've been playing with at the shop. You want me to send you that one? And I said, yeah, absolutely, sure. So I did pay full price for this, but I was lucky enough to get one basically before everybody else. So the box that it came in is not even the correct box for this optic. It's for one of their other scopes, but I don't care about boxes. I care about scopes. So if you're looking for a relatively inexpensive LPVO in the 1 to 6, 1 to 8 range, and you're looking at Vortex and you're looking at Primary Arms, or you're looking at the lower end SIG models or Arkin or whoever else, give these guys a look. I'm really happy with how this one's held up and the performance on it. And as a bonus versus those other options, this is going to save you a couple bucks. So save your money, buy a good mount, and that's it. Again, thanks to Jimmy at Atibal. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Drop them in the comments down below. And as always, if you're local to me, hit me up. Let's go shoot this. Thanks.